Sorry, we should be live right now. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me throw this chat up. Oh boy. Brett, what's going on? What is good, man? Crazy world right now. Crazy. Brett Heatley's in the house. Broke Ape, what's going on, my brother? Siren Muscle? Bucks fan? Seriously. It's the first thing I started thinking about when I saw everything breaking. I gotta admit, I've been kind of glued to the news and everything in the last 24 hours. But that's the first thing I thought of when I saw some of the images coming back. Where are the Israeli citizens' firearms? Swisher, was there? I didn't feel it. 4.3, you say? How long ago? I definitely didn't feel that. I should have felt it. Where in Washington State? Yeah. That's the first thing I thought to myself is, where are these people's arms? But I guess they are so used to their border being protected and how formidable that fencing was and the IDF forces that were guarding it. I guess they were kind of just caught in a bad place, man. Bucks fan, what's going on? Mike says, thanks, Joe. You did it again. Unbelievable. I thought this was all supposed to happen when Trump was in office. Remember they told us there'll be world wars, there'll be war all over the place. We can't have a lunatic like Donald Trump in office because everything will fall apart. Funny how long that lasted, huh? Broke Ape, what's going on? Mike says, go Bucks. Gorilla Gardner. Oh my God, the market's closed tomorrow. Holy shit, you're right. You're right. So that means, all right, well, let's say this. Everything I've heard so far is that any retaliatory invasion into the West Bank by Israel is at least like 48 hours away. I think you're right, Siren Muscle. Hang on, let me check. No, it's open. It is open. It says, yeah, open for Columbus and Indigenous Peoples Day. I don't know what that is, but yeah, we are. We got a market. I thought so. Forget what I was saying now. Mike says, huge retaliation coming anytime now. Yeah, so there's a couple things I think that are going on here. First of all, how did intelligence miss an invasion like this? I have no idea. I mean, I understand the timing was kind of perfect with the holiday and those things. I guess a lot of people were taken off the front lines, but what a major failure by the intelligence. Bob, what's going on, man? Bob's checking in from New Jersey, says, from New Jersey to the moon. All right, Bob. Good to see you, man. Lordy, what's going on? Bar market is closed. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I just double checked. I thought it was. I don't know who just tricked me. Who was that just tricked me? Super Steven says that's it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got it. The market is. I thought so. I was pretty sure that we definitely had a market tomorrow. Sense of Content says, how are you going to hide things in the swaps when you can't trade swaps? Bonds are closed. Banks are closed. Our favorite stock are open. Yes. Bucks fan says on Twitter X, the Dems are blaming everybody else for their failures. Yeah, man, this is pretty upsetting, I gotta say. And you know the saber rattling will continue. I heard Nikki Haley today on one of the morning shows, or maybe it was yesterday, saying that a war in the Middle East is a war in the United States. Ay, ay, ay. Siren Muscle says, we are so screwed, especially with the sleeper Hamas cells in our country. So let's talk about that for a second, because I did pull a couple things I think are important. Maybe we should start off with this quick video while we get some more people in the chat. Mike says, congratulations to Smith & Wesson for moving to Tennessee. Lordy, how you doing today? How are the German people reacting to what we're seeing right now? What is the sentiment on social media there and everything? Kyle J, what's up, man? All right, let me pull this video real quick. All right, so from what I can tell, let's share screen. Okay. Let's make this a little bigger.
All right, guys. Back in Lukeville, Arizona, we broke this story a couple months ago where this had become the new crossing point for illegals. We've had reporters down here for the last couple months. It's been continuous. Just came back down. We've got mostly West African. You have people from India, people from Egypt. But for whatever reason, hotels have moved a huge number of people to this area out in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, all coming through here.
Bucks fan. You think so, Mike? Puts on the spy? Hey, Kiwi Girl. Kiwi Girl was the first person to heads up on this. Thank you, Kiwi Girl. She was ringing the alarm bells the other night during the live. She blew up, really. So this is right now, today.
So I'm going to ask you to say just on that side. You're welcome to film all you want. Sure. Just this side of the street is close to the public.
What about here or on this side?
Nope. Just on that side.
Okay. So only illegals here. Border Patrol, you could tell they're so frustrated. They want this to be reported. So I went up and I was able to get some really close-up footage of these guys. Unfortunately, we had somebody from the national parks come out and tell me that this was a closed off location. Press is not allowed to be as close as I was, so I had to move over here across the road. So apparently only illegals can be on that part of our national park.
What the fuck?
Almost all fighting age men. They said over 500 today that came through, big day. And they said the new location where people are coming from, and this is shocking to me because I haven't heard this, is Syria. Big numbers coming to Lukeville, Arizona from Syria. At least 150 fighting age men here right now. They said they took the women and children earlier. They prioritized them. But,
yeah, sure.
It's
they did.
It's bad, guys. It's really bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just really, really bad. Biden did it. Mayorkas did this. They're not doing anything to stop it. New round of Biden's recruits coming in. Yeah, make sure you get your waters, guys. Don't want you to get thirsty. Make sure we keep those bags. Concierge service.
Yeah, Carl J. It does, right? It really does. When you think about the sheer numbers. Yeah, Maynard. I did.
Here comes your new neighbors.
Hang on, Bucks fan. Let me get the
All right, they're loading those vans up.
There's the name right there. Let me see if I can pull this up and put it on the screen here. Yeah, give this guy a follow, right? I'll put it in the chat. There we go.
Taking them to the Ajo Border Patrol station to process them. That means Border Patrol's not on the line out here to the west or out to the east, which allows the cartels to do everything else they want. I'm going to head down to where they're coming across and see if we have any more groups coming or if we can get any more intel on what they're leaving behind.
Anytime.
On Border, sponsored in part by Patriot Mobile. Use promo code RAV for free activation. Our other sponsor, the satellite phone store, ravsat.com, guys. Support the.
So that was one thing that pretty much terrified me. There are a lot of things that there's a lot of misinformation for sure on Twitter right now going around. A lot of misinformation. But this is kind of crazy. Yeah, this I've seen from multiple angles. So this was that outdoor music festival that was going on, like Burning Man apparently. And they've confirmed 260 people died here. It looks like it's drone. Look at that. Unbelievable. Wow. That's just crazy. Nuts. Yeah, there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation going on. And I guess, yeah, this happened in Washington and in California, San Diego. This is San Diego earlier today. Unreal. I'm pretty sure that's Balboa Park in San Diego, if I remember. Looks like Balboa Park. Same thing happened in Washington State. Sorry, Muscle, you might know about this. We're definitely getting demonetized, by the way. What's up with the techno music? Crazy, crazy. I also saw this. Naked Truth put this up earlier. Yeah. So here's Kevin Hearn. I think that threw his name in to become speaker from Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure this is him. So here are, this is nuts. What are these from? Yeah, this is from, they go back to the end of 22, but all the way up till June 30th of 2023. So just recently. Buys on XOM, DVN, CVX, General Dynamics. Yeah, man, we got to get this shit out of Congress. We got to get this stuff out of Congress. Let me go to some of the comments. I'm going to have to catch up. Kiwi Girl says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Kiwi Girl. What time is it right now in New Zealand? 2 in the afternoon, right? I have you programmed. Yeah, if it's 6 in Jerusalem, it must be 2 o'clock. But yeah, thank you for Kiwi Girl for alerting me the other night that this was going on. I've basically been glued to the news and television since you came on that night, Kiwi Girl. I talked to Tony for a couple minutes after the live stream about the market on Monday, and then I basically just been glued to the story. 4? You're not in Sydney's time zone, Kiwi Girl? I got to put in a new one then. Censored Content says, I took a look at Google Maps, and whoever fights over there is going to win some rocks and sand. Yeah, man. My problem with this is for me to speak on as far as who's right and who's wrong. I don't know enough of the political history. I know some of it, right? Like, I know some of the things that have gone on. Obviously, that the Palestinians haven't had the greatest life over there in the West Bank, in the Gaza Strip, right? I'm not going to let that, but I'm also not going to let the thought of that justify the actions I saw take place in the last 48 hours. Mike says his fortune cookie said buy more than ammo. Siren Muscle says the horoscope said that as well. Carl J says it feels like an invasion. It really does. And it's crazy because I see all these politicians today saying that we could see an invasion like this in the United States. They don't need paragliders and bulldozers and, the speed of getting on the back of motorbikes in order to pull this off. We have a fucking wide open border. You don't need to do any of that. Most of them are already here. If you don't think we've had multiple sleeper cells probably who have come into this country in the last 2 years, and I've seen a lot of people on X saying, that there's possibly going to be some kind of attack in America. Who knows? If these guys get activated, look, we just gave Iran $6 billion. And say what you want about that, but I don't know how an outfit like Hamas could fund something like this. First of all, they say 1,000 fighters into Israel. Now, all those families have to get something in order for the price that their sons have to pay, right? Because none of those guys are coming back, except in a body bag. So that's a lot of money. And to be able to launch thousands of rockets, they're still launching rockets now. I saw they was just launching rockets at the international airport. If I can pull it up. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so this was a little earlier. There's just no way they didn't have help with this operation. To be able to break through the wall at 5 different places. Yeah. And now they're asking us for more munitions. Yeah, there's definitely a serious offensive coming. The NFC. The not fucking around crew. What else did I see that I think you guys might be interested? Oh, just so we can talk about the market for 1 second, then we'll get back to this. Mohammed Al-Arain went on Twitter today. He was saying this week is going to already be promising to an interesting one for global economy and markets. Now it is even more so that analysts try to understand the wider implications of the intensified conflict in the Middle East. Look in particular for inflation data out of the US and China, CPI and PPI, the Fed Reserve minutes, US consumer sentiment, and UK GDP. And watch this too. Good point. And let's just not forget what we left behind in Afghanistan. Is it possible that anything, obviously not the vehicles, but you guys have seen the pictures. Now, is it possible that some of those armaments that they're showing on TV were captured just recently during this incursion? Because they raided 3 IDF bases, a couple police stations. So yeah, they could have taken some weapons, obviously, from there back into Gaza. But I would love to know if some of these weapons are coming from Ukraine. You know they are. You know they are. All right, let me get back to the chat here. Phil says, Phil, how you doing tonight? The best equipped army in the world. Yeah, I know. Got totally taken by surprise, caught off guard. Yeah. And I don't know how they're going to fight. I mean, if this area is so densely populated with people, I don't know how you launch an invasion into this place without the human toll being unbelievable. See if I can throw this map up. So this is so that picture we were just watching of that the northern camp here, I believe, is on the north side or the north tip of the Gaza Strip, up in this area here. And then I saw earlier that Hezbollah. Let me see. Do I still have that clip? Hezbollah. Yeah, here we go. Hold on, let me switch these out. Yeah, this is the Hezbollah images I saw earlier from the northern part of the country, obviously on the Lebanese border. So for you guys who don't know, Hezbollah is a Lebanese-backed, they're in the Lebanon, country of Lebanon, Syria, some in Jordan. They're backed by Iran predominantly. And Hamas is more of a Palestinian group, right? Hamas is the party that runs Palestine. They are the political into power there. Let me put this up. This was, like I said, in the northern part of the country, up near the Lebanese border, where Israel has some radar positions to help with incoming missiles. And these are Hezbollah attacks from Lebanon. So that's their radar installations out in the northern part of the Israel countryside. It's a big farming area. But this is basically to try to pick up anything coming in from Lebanon, those areas in the north. And of course, we're on our way, right? U.S. aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford, as well as the other ships in the Carrier Strike Group 12, which include Ticonderoga-class cruiser, USS Normandy, as well as an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer USS Ramage, USS McFaul, and USS Thomas Herdner are reportedly heading towards the eastern Mediterranean in a show of support for Israel and to also assist with the possible evacuation of U.S. citizens from the country if the need arises. Now, I did see that Poland and Romania tonight were already flying in 737s and cargo planes to pick up their people. Those look like APCs to me. I'm not sure, though. Oh, no, that's a tank. Those are tanks. Massive, massive mobilization. Man. Crazy. Let me get back to the chat here. Michael says a report on Fidelity last Thursday that AT&T would buy Dish. You put the same quote up, Michael. Are you a real person? You put the same quote in my comments the other day. Maynard says one girl was taking selfies. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Was that what that girl was doing? She was being taken away and she was taking selfies with the terrorists? That's nuts. Nuts. Sarah Mel says, wow, San Diego. I know. Censored Content says, I ignore Twitter and get all my misinformation directly from the White House press room. There's nothing coming from the White House press room. A, because President Biden and Vice President Harris are having a barbecue at the White House tonight for their staff. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. Yeah. So, and there's nothing scheduled for tomorrow as far as press or anything. We look so weak. So weak. Michael says Biden made a comment. He said, we'll remain rock solid in our support of Israel, and then ran off the stage. Wouldn't take one question. That is that kind of feckless, spineless reaction, him running away, is what is emboldening these people to take this on. We went in and struck Iran and killed one of their biggest generals with Trump as president, and nothing happened. There was no retaliation. Mike says, they are cowards and will attack women and children in large gatherings. Stay ready, my friends. Yes, people were unarmed. I don't care how close I was to the border, knowing the history of Hamas. And look, I'm not lumping Hamas in with the rest of the Palestinian people. I can keep those two separate in my head, even though I know they voted for that government. So ultimately, I guess this does fall into this as well. But knowing their history and some of the tactics that they use and how brutal they can be, I'm kind of shocked that those people out in, the farms there and some of the more smaller towns on the border were not armed. I would have been armed to the teeth. Yeah, me too, Carl J. Me too. Me too. Michael, there were protests. People were protesting against, both sides, right? You had Palestinian and Israeli protesters in San Diego and Seattle. They were getting into fisticuffs over the squabble that's going on right now. It's more than a squabble. I mean, they're legit at war right now. Yes, StockWiz. We do have a market tomorrow. Yes. Wellington, Kiwi Girl? All right, that's what I'm going to add right now. Wellington, New Zealand. W. So I always know what time it is where you are. Wellington. There we go, Wellington. Boom. All right, I got you. 420. 20 right now. StockWiz says, this is what I want to hear. I want to hear the counter arguments to everything. Israel people stole all the land they took since the 50s. Yeah, I gotta brush up on my history on this. Honestly, I've been trying to just catch up on kind of sifting through what's real and what's not. As far as the history goes, I'm gonna need a little more time on that. I just don't have enough. I don't have enough of a background in those geopolitics, especially, with the Palestinians and the Israelis. Probably should. Jared Lightnings, what's going on, man? He says, hey, Mass, my parents' trip to Jerusalem got canceled. Yeah, I would hope so, man. I wouldn't be going there right now. They're trying to pull people out. Like I just said, Poland, Romania, a couple other countries I've sent in commercial flights to pull out their diplomats that are in the country. So that's a good thing, man. At least they'll be all right and safe, and they can plan the trip for another time. But there's no sense in going there right now. No sense. Maynard says we're paying them $2,200 a month. I know, it's nuts. It's nuts. Your Money says where I'm living, the illegals outnumber us like 4-1. Where I am, I have seen pictures of how they drug people out of their homes or murdered them. I'm super worried. And dumb McDummies. This fucking idiot. Did I save this? Please tell me I did. Tell me I have this. Yeah, here it is. Look at it. You're not going to, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but this is ridiculous. Look at this. Fucking unreal. This is the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, right? Who said he doesn't see an end in sight to the migrant problem.
We believe the borders should remain open. That's the official position of the city, but we have made it clear there should be a decompression strategy that we could properly deal with the volumes that's coming into our city, and no cities should have to carry the burden of the national government. We believe the borders should remain open.
I think they should send every possible bus their way. Texas, if you're listening, send every bus to New York going forward. If they want the border to remain open, that's their official position. Flood the place. Flood them. No mercy. Until they wake up. StockWiz says they got help from Iran. You think because we just gave them $6 billion, StockWiz? Let me see here. Broke Ape, it's called the Iron Dome. The defensive system is shooting down some of the rockets, the Iron Dome. That's what they're asking the administration for, more munitions right now. And I saw that some of the rockets that were shooting down the Hezbollah mortars were Patriot missiles. So apparently they'll still work a little bit. Put this up. This is from the Washington Free Beacon from just a few days ago. It says the Biden administration pushed hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer aid to Palestinians, despite internal assessments that those plans could boost the Iran-backed terrorist group Hamas. According to internal documents obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, State Department officials in 2021 outlined the concerns in private communications, asking the Treasury Department to exempt them from laws that bar the U.S. government from injecting taxpayer aid into territories controlled by Palestinian terror groups. The Biden administration needed this authorization in order to move forward with its plans to unfreeze more than $360 million in U.S. funds for the Palestinian Authority that were cut off during the Trump administration due to the authority's support for terrorists. You can't make this shit up. We assess there's a high risk Hamas could potentially derive indirect unintentional benefit from U.S. assistance to Gaza. There is less, but still some risk U.S. assistance would benefit other designated groups. Goes on and on. State Department officials said they did not specify what programs or activities they intended to fund if exempted from counterterrorism laws due to the need for broad flexibility. Instead, they would only provide illustrative examples, including a list of assistance projects totaling over $200 million, according to one of the emails. All right. Now, let's get to this, because this was interesting.
Medicine. Do you believe?
Now remember, we were told that this money would only be used for humanitarian efforts, right?
But what is your expectation of its use? We're told that it's for humanitarian purposes, food and medicine. Do you believe you have the right to use that money in any way that you see fit?
This money belongs to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and naturally, we will decide, the Islamic Republic of Iran will decide to spend it wherever we need it.
So if I hear you clearly, that it will be used for more than humanitarian purposes in your view.
Humanitarian means whatever the Iranian people needs. So this money will be budgeted for those needs. And the needs of the Iranian people will be decided and determined by the Iranian government.
But what is your expectation of its?
So there you go. They made it pretty clear. Lordy says if everyone is in puts today, MMs and Algo will F us. I'm interested to see where this thing goes. Yeah, Kiwi Girl, I did. Table Rock Guy, what's going on, man? He says, going down the rabbit hole with my tinfoil hat on. It's very hard for me to, especially listening to some of the former IDF soldiers talk about how they just don't believe that it's possible that they could have missed something this large. They said that, the noise, basically if a bird landed anywhere near the fence, it would set them off. Set off everything. All right, here she is. This is her talking about it.
תומכת לחימה, שתפו את הסרטון הזה כמה שיותר, כי תקשיבו רגע. אני שירתתי כסמב"צית חי"ר במהלך מלחמת צוק איתן, אני שירתתי באוגדת עזה. כל השירות שלי היה תומכת לחימה בזמן מלחמת צוק איתן שעזה הייתה באוגדת עזה. תקשיבו לי ותקשיבו.
So she's in the Gaza division. This is where the attacks took place, right? She's on that wall.
תקשיבו לי טוב. אין מצב בעולם שיכולה להיות כזאת התקרבות לגדר, אוקיי? מבלי שאנחנו לא נדע מזה. התצפיתניות יושבות בבונקרים 4 שעות, הן לא יכולות לעשות ככה. הן מול מסך. לא יכול להיות מצב, שום מצב, שהיו מעירים אותי בלילה על יונה, על חסידה שהתקרבה לגדר, על מקק שעבר מתחת לגדר, היו מקפיצים את כל הגזרה. איך נכנסו עם טרקטורים? איך נכנסו עם טרקטורים?
So that's how sensitive their stuff is. Their detection devices. Candace says, Candace, what's going on tonight, hon? How are you? And they took the hostages to, yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah. Danny, what's going on, man? Maynard says 80 billion in arms Biden left in Afghanistan. Yeah, we were just showing that picture, Maynard, of everything that we left there. Some of that stuff didn't end up in their hands. And this is Terry Antony Blinken today on Meet the Press with Christina Welker. He looks like a miserable fuck, doesn't he?
What do you say about the argument that money is fungible? So Iran may have known this money is coming and used other funds to help fund this attack that happened.
Iran has unfortunately always used and focused its funds on supporting terrorism, on supporting groups like Hamas, and it's done that when there have been sanctions, it's done that when there haven't been sanctions, and it's always prioritized that. And again, I come back to the proposition that these funds have always been, under the law, available to Iran to use for humanitarian purposes.
What do you say about the argument that money...
Ay. Well, that's what they're saying, right? They're saying this is an attack on the United States, and the next move is, if China wants to invade Taiwan, there's no better time than right now. First of all, they're asking for money. Ukraine's asking for money. Israel needs more munitions and support. We're $33 trillion in debt. Where are we getting this money from? Dennis says Poland's going to be a little late. They drove backwards. Danny says, this world is crazy, praying for... Yeah, me too, man. It's not really what I want to be talking about tonight. There's a lot of things we could be talking about, but just seemed like if I ignored this and didn't come out and talk about it on the live stream, it'd be pretty... then I'm not a true journalist. We haven't really even seen what the repercussions are. I mean, I know there's been a lot of strategic bombing and rockets going off, and they've killed a couple of the leaders supposedly inside the country in their own homes. But I think they are not fucking around on this. I think it's going to be full-scale invasion, and maybe that's the whole point of this, right? Is to draw them into a place that they know that they can easily defend, right? I'm sure Hamas has been setting up Gaza City for a long time, ready for some kind of invasion, right? So maybe that's exactly what they want them to do. Maybe they're trying to pull them into their home territory. Phil says, Russian hackers can mess with our infrastructure and turn lights out. We have to be careful not to cross the line. Yeah, so I saw Russian hackers shut down the government website today in Israel. Broke Ape says they waste more. They waste more money on trucks that only carry one tank. Yeah, why wouldn't you just drive the tanks? I guess they eat a lot. Do they eat a lot more gas than a big rig like that? I don't know. Yeah, Biden's definitely in bed right now. The barbecue's over, I'm sure. Ryan says, I heard that Israel gave 75% of their weapons to Ukraine. That's why America has to join in. I don't know if it was that high, Ryan. I did see some reports about some people were upset, and this goes back to when the war first started in Ukraine, that a lot of the Israeli people were upset that Netanyahu was giving weapons to Ukraine, and they didn't feel like they were fully defended yet. Harry Parrott, what's going on, man? Harry Parrott says some of the video from yesterday shows some Palestinians carrying M4s. All right, so Harry Parrott, so I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'm sure some of it is coming from Ukraine, no doubt about it. They're the most corrupt country in Europe. Of course, they are selling some of their weapons to these factions, right? I don't think that's in anyone's. I don't think anyone's doubting that. But there also were, how many? I think 3 IDF bases that were on the border that were overrun. I've seen the videos of the dead Israeli soldiers. I've seen them pulling dog tags and, taking their grenades off them and rounds of ammunition. I know you guys have seen some of the footage that they've taken a bunch of munitions and guns. They took over a couple police stations. Look, there was 1,000 infiltrators, Hamas fighters, that crossed the border, apparently. And then unknown number of civilians who just came over and looted once the opening was made into the fences, right? And Hamas had pushed out from the border fence. It allowed an influx of civilians to come in and take some of the spoils of war. They still don't have that territory back yet completely. But what I'm saying is some of those weapons very easily could have come from the police stations and the military bases that were overrun. I'm sure some of them are, but the things they used before the attack, that's what I'm saying. So the pictures we're seeing now could be from those places, but everything used before the attacks obviously came from an outside source. Dennis says, remember when the border wall was racist? I do, Dennis. Yeah, I do. Maynard says, dumbest statement made by a mayor. Look, flood New York. If he wants to keep the border open, that's the official policy of New York. I would send every bus there going forward. I'm not kidding. Every bus I would send to New York. Dennis says, sweep the leg. Is that a Karate Kid reference? Silverstream says, just tuned in. Anyone ask how the hell this got past Mossad? Man, this is like the biggest failure in intelligence ever. I mean, Mossad's supposed to be they're supposed to have all the most updated equipment, the best technology. Now, is it possible Hamas used a lot of their old tradecraft of going back to face-to-face in-person meetings and maybe notes and letters and stayed off radio communications and telephones and cell phones? Yeah, probably, right? Probably. But I don't know. And what took them so long to at least get some of the soldiers who were, not on vacation, who were not on holiday? I know it was the last day of their holiday, but what took them so long to get to those areas? Harry Parrott, I don't know, man. I wish I knew. Feels like the whole world's on fire right now, right? I swear they told us this was going to happen under Trump. But here it is happening to Joe Biden. Mike says, they can't stop Trump, so let's go to war. It's awfully fishy how now we're involved in 2 major conflicts, one in Europe and one in the Middle East. And we're 12 months away from an election. I don't know, man. And God forbid that they do already have, and I should just say this because it's probably true. There probably are already some sleeper cells in the United States. We can't sit back and say they got all the terrorists at the border. We know that 7 million people have come through that have been checked and millions who haven't. There's no way. Definitely some people have gotten in here that have nefarious intentions. And it's just a matter of, when do they get violent? And not only if they're terrorists from another country and they have to be activated as some kind of terror cell. I'm talking just the people who came here hoping that they're going to continue to get free hotel rooms and 3 meals a day and food stamps and all that. When that runs out, what do? When they start getting kicked out of hotels and, it needs to go back to business as usual, where are these people going to go? Harry Parrott says, here is the biggest question. If there was an invasion from the border area of Israel, why wasn't the Israeli Air Force scrambled? There is something wrong. Yeah, maybe because of the only thing I can think of, Harry Parrott, is because of them taking hostages. The only reason I would see to delay any of this action is because of the hostages. And supposedly we have Americans that have been taken, Americans that have been killed. We know a German girl was killed at that rave. And who knows how many international people were at that rave. Phil says the retaliation was sending the people here, Mass. Broke Ape says, yeah, she said you could pick. Yeah, seriously. So how were all those people allowed to get by there? Bucks fan says we can just print more money. AMC Panda, what's going on, man? AMC Panda says AMC squeeze next week or World War III. Yeah, man, I'm very nervous about Hezbollah getting involved because now you're talking about, Lebanon, and now they're fighting on multiple fronts. Then the rest of the world would get dragged in probably, right? So that Israel isn't destroyed because they're surrounded on all sides. Map. Every country around them is a hostile. Switch this here. So you got Egypt that shares a border with Israel. Muslim country, right? Muslim Brotherhood. Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. And you got tiny little Israel right here. Yeah, man. It's scary to think that they could possibly draw us into a world war like that. But they're already sending a carrier group there. I've seen some of the high ups in Hezbollah, some of the people in the Iranian administration saying, if the U.S. gets involved with this, they will not, they will not hold back from attacking at bases around the world. And I'm assuming that means inside the United States as well, because I'm sure they're already here. Candace says, Doc Zeno, what's going on, man? Candace says, I'm sure they also have weapons. 100%, Candace. And I'm sure there's a bunch from Afghanistan too. Sith Lord, what's going on, man? Says AMC squeeze next week. I mean, this is another thing. Like, these things we can't prepare for, right? Like, you can't prepare for an invasion of a terrorist group into Israel over the weekend and a war starting up. Like, we had a great day on Friday. The markets looked like they were going to be in an upswing, and we would just kind of run maybe till the end of the year unless there's a rate hike. And now, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, says Biden and a palm reader asking why Trump's still beating the polls from jail. Candace says, and while we're over there, if to worry about Taiwan being taken, I don't know what, if China really wants Taiwan, I don't know what they're waiting for. Clearly, no one is afraid of this administration, this country. Look, you don't think people around the world see the fucking woke bullshit that's going on in the military right now? That we can't recruit even a third of what we normally take in? How many people have left the military? How understaffed we are? How many weapons we've given away? How much oil we have left in the reserves in the country? 16 days. People around the world are taking note. Right, Kiwi girl. That's the question. Kryptonian says it will be a massive crime epidemic. Yeah. Yeah. Just stay armed, people. Learn from what just happened and what went down with a supposed border that is the most advanced and high tech in the world. So we're the complete opposite of that. We have zero border. And look what they were able to do. It will be a massive crime epidemic. If you think the smash and grabs and everything we're seeing now is bad, wait till people get desperate and if they can't eat and feed their families. Says Boston, New York City, and my city, Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, D.C. Imagine they're all on the list for terrorist attacks. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that today, that intel is leaking. I saw this guy on Twitter here. This is the second person I saw say this. Phone call I just got, and this could be bullshit. Who works with a diplomat frightened me, and I'm not frightened of many things. I would not be in a big city for the next 12 months. Hamas has terror cells in the U.S. They came in via border. The people in power know this, and they also know there will be attacks targeting major cities. America is next. Joe Biden's handlers are responsible for what is set to happen. Yes, I'm seeing chatter that has me on alert as well. Stay armed. Stay. Broke Ape says, Mass, you saw the video on the hotel in New York with the migrants? Yeah, I did see that. Yep. I saw them fighting with police the other night. A bunch of them got arrested. Freddie says, Freddie, what's going on, man? He says they were allowed to get in the same way our government let millions of people into USA by design. 100%. Siren Muscle says, yep, we will get dragged in now. Yep, we already got a carrier group on the way, right? Now, what does that signify? What are we really going to do with the carrier group, right? This is going to be a ground assault that Israel is going to launch in the next 48, 72 hours. I don't know if there's negotiations going on right now for hostages. I don't know if Israel negotiates with hostages, but they might just roll in there and say, hey, it's collateral damage, right? And just flatten the place. Bucks fan says the illegals are the Democrats' newest version. Yeah, well, that's what they used in 2020, right? And I've been talking about this for months, guys. I know I've been posting on Twitter. I don't know if I made a video about it yet. It's going to be in the documentary. I have some stuff about this in the documentary. Obviously, you guys have seen the trailer. But yeah. Maynard says Biden has also made us dependent on their oil. Yeah, because 17 days left in the National Reserve. I believe that's what I saw the other day. And the other thing, some people have commented and saying maybe this has a lot to do with Saudi Arabia and Israel about to sign that big peace agreement, right? This comes on the heels of that about to happen, and now the Saudis are backing the Palestinians. And so maybe that this was a plan to try to get that whole thing canceled. Tommy B, what's going on, man? Good to see you, my friend. Tommy says this world is crazy, right, bro? Insane. Kryptonian says Trump spoke about this very thing on August 17th. Wow. Is that true? That's not possible, is it? That Trump could have been talking about this on August 17th?
Crooked Joe Biden just agreed to pay a $6 billion ransom to the dictatorship in exchange for hostages. This is yet another Biden surrender and a blistering humiliation of the United States of America to the world stage. But even worse, this decision will be extremely deadly. Biden is giving $6 billion to the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, just as when Obama...
The hell just happened?
To the leadership in exchange for hostages. This is yet another Biden surrender and a further blistering humiliation of the United States of America to the world stage. But even worse, this decision will be extremely deadly. Biden is giving $6 billion to the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, just as when Obama sent the Iranian regime pallets of cash for hostages in the dark of night. Remember? Plane loads of cash. Biden's ransom payment will be immediately used to stoke violence, bloodshed, and mayhem throughout the Middle East and all around the world, costing countless innocent lives. It's also guaranteed that the fanatical Iranian regime will use this money to advance their nuclear weapons program, putting Israel, the United States, and the entire world in very grave peril. They are reportedly just weeks away from a nuclear bomb, something which would have never happened under the Trump administration. Tragically, Biden's ransom payments also make it dramatically more likely that even more Americans will be held captive in the future, because Biden has shown that he will pay gargantuan sums of money, meaning the kidnappers turn a massive profit. They're making money hand over fist. In other words, Biden has put a ban on the head of every American citizen abroad. Under my leadership, we brought home more than 50 hostages from all over the world, and we never paid ransom money to do it, not at all. We did it with diplomacy, and we did it through strength, and we will do it again when we are reelected as President of the United States. Our country is failing. We are a failing nation. We will turn it around, and we will make America great again. Thank you.
I hope so. I really do. I got no faith in the system right now. Zero. Censored Content says, after things already happened, I'm still a radical conspiracy theorist, or do I have to give my membership card back? No, man, you can keep that. We all got one now. Doc says the U.S. is currently running barely on one cylinder. Doug says, and worse yet, how financially weak we are. You have $33 trillion in debt right now. And Ukraine has their hand out still. And you know Congress is going to fund. And now it's going to be, Israel's going to be on the table. They'll lump those two bills together so that no matter what, and this is what Matt Gaetz was talking about the other day, right? We need to start separating this shit and having, these bills can't be put together in these big conglomerates, right? This stuff needs to be broken down. And, getting the money out of politics is huge. Taking the lobbyists out of D.C. would be a huge step in the right direction towards peace. Some resemblance of peace. Phil says, Phil says it's the end times. If I get raptured, I'll say goodbye now. Phil, peace, bro. Maybe I'll see you on the Sith Lord says, a Navy veteran, and I'm embarrassed at our lack of respect towards our country. It's sickening. It's sickening. Again, all these things they said we're going to have in 2016. I remember everyone running around screaming after Trump got elected that, oh my God, he's going to have his finger on the button. We're going to be in wars all over the world. Our military is going to be strapped for cash. I remember all these, everyone had the same tagline, right? But we started 0 wars under President Trump. He started the pullout from Afghanistan, which was the endless war we were in that was constantly sucking the life out of us. Maynard says, I heard about a dozen gunshots this afternoon. In Maine, Maynard? Censored Content says, they gave them hostages, so they had a reason to negotiate for the hostages. SilverStream says, I remember when the Munich Olympics hostage situation when I was in grade school and later the raid on Entebbe. Yeah, I don't remember those things, but I mean, I know the stories. McMurky says, if Gaza wins, we're going to mow ass. Kryptonian says, they weren't afraid or worried about the border patrol. You think they will worry about local law enforcement. I know. Look, if they got to be afraid of anyone, for you terrorists out there, or any sleeper cells in this country, be afraid of the American people. Don't worry about the local sheriff. Don't worry about the military. Be afraid of the American patriot, because that's who's going to come up behind you when you're not looking, right? AMC Panda says, yep, Biden did this. Valero, what's going on, man? He says, Black Swan Moass. Oh, I would love to see a Moass of a Black Swan event. I just hope it doesn't cost a lot of people their lives to do it. Thing I would be against. Sense of Content says, you think this is crazy? Wait till the 26th, according to the crazy guys on the interwebs. What are they saying, Sense of Content, about 26? Broke Ape says, it's the wording he's using. Biden unfroze their money from sanctions, not giving them money. Yeah, I would have just held that up, right? There is no need right now to unleash $6 billion to the world's largest country of state-sponsored. I don't know what the rush was. I mean, they said that money can be appropriated for anything besides humanitarian aid. Money, like she said, money is fungible. How are we supposed to keep track of that? There's absolutely no way. Silverstream says, right now, Congress can't do anything until the House elects a new speaker. That is correct. Yeah, we can't do anything. I've heard Jim Jordan from a lot of people. I heard Byron Donalds earlier today say he's going to back Jim Jordan. You know, Jim Jordan was one of the only guys who was fighting to get some of the January 6 people released. He, you know, went into the Biden inquiry into the all the fraud that they're doing and the money laundering. I just hope he's got his priorities straight, and I hope he knows where the American people actually stand right now. Silverstream says, bye, Phil. See you on the other side. Maynard says, yep, got Somali gangs up here now. Really? Silverstream says, you wasn't alive, Mass. I'm 60 and you haven't began to live your life. Yeah, right, bro. I'm on the back 9 right now. Kidding me? Anyone attacks me in my place is screwed. I am well trained in pharmaceuticals and have my place rigged with such a defense. Yeah, I guess we'll see this week what happens. I have a feeling that they're going to vote a speaker in relatively quickly. There may be a little bit of posturing. Maybe the vote goes back and forth once or twice, but I have a feeling that they're going to get this done quick. I could be wrong. Silverstream says, no, Israel don't negotiate. They go in and kick ass. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Tommy says, I sleep with a 38 next to my bed and an AR-15 next to the bed in the corner, a shotgun under my bed. I have 45, 380, 40, and 22 in the closet on standby. There you go. Yeah, man, this could get very ugly in the next 48 hours, and we'll see how that affects the market. Man, just these are the things you just can't prepare for. Geopolitics and, microeconomics, these kind of things you can't. I just said microeconomics. Geopolitics is what I meant to say. Geopolitics, you can't. This is something you just can't plan on, right? Who would have ever thought that was going to happen? Although apparently President Trump knew on August 17th when he made the announcement that this was going to happen. Go figure. I got Jesse and Kiwi Girl in the chat at once right now. That's awesome. My two Kiwis. What's going on, Jesse? Jesse says, just in time, commuting from home. How you doing tonight, ma'am? Ed Backwater. Silverstream says, that's why we got to pass on our history to these kids. God bless you. Yeah. Kiwi Girl. Yeah, I would like to know that too, Kiwi Girl. What was the other... I had a clip earlier to show. Looks like I doubled over on some of these. Yeah, I think I showed you guys, but if I didn't, here it is again. I mean, that is wild, man. Who is paying for all this? Who is going to pay these people's way? And how are they affording to get here is the other question I have. Ryan says, it's such a coincidence. We had these test alerts a couple of days ago prior to this. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidence anymore. I really don't. What could that possibly be for in the future? Who the hell knows? Maybe to suspend an election? I don't know. I mean, they're going to run Biden against Trump right now, as far as anyone can tell. Dennis says, is that the line for the newest iPhone? I wish. If you want the newest iPhone, just go to Philly. You can just go into the iPhone store and take them. Find Meatball. She's a TikTok streamer. She knows how to get in. I saw Vivek Ramaswamy on the border of Canada with New Hampshire yesterday. He literally crossed the border over on like a hiking trail, right to the right of where let me see if he has it on his post. Vivek, I think. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, here we go. Yep, this is it.
It's a nice walk. It's a very friendly hiking trail. There's a sign that led us up here. I wouldn't have found this if they didn't have the friendly sign literally right in front of the fence with barbed wire said hiking trail this way. A white line that we cross, but a hiking trail that we're jaunting along. It's beautiful, I have to admit. The kind of thing we might do on a vacation. Or if you're illegally crossing a border when you don't want to come through the main border. Those would be the two ways that you might take advantage of a beautiful trail like this one. It's a nice walk. It's a very friendly hiking trail.
That's our northern border.
It's okay. Even now, the Democratic that sends a signal to all the illegal migrants. Okay, even now, the Democratic administration might be serious about it. Let's fly over to North Country, where many are coming over right. Not through. They're not going to be jumping these barbed wires on this fence. Of course not. Hiking trail. So, we take a look at the start of the hiking trail. It's just as though you're here, right? Right, we're on one hand is the hiking trail. We're going to hike if we have a little bit of time. We have the barbed wire fence surrounding this area. Now, track with me. Here's the hiking trail, goes all the way to Canada, and then here's all of the area without any fence in front of it. Goes behind those beautiful mountains down to a stream over there, maximum 10 yards, shallow stream that you're able to cross. So if you want to cross the border legally, you come here, wait in line or whatever on a day. We're here on a Saturday, so there's not a traffic day. You can come right on in. But let's say you don't want to do it that way for whatever reason. Maybe you're Brazilian ex-military and you've killed 10 people and you want to get into this country illegally. Maybe you're actually somebody who's smuggling more people in this country. You think they're going to come where the barbed wire fence is? I don't think so. You might take the literally more scenic route, the hiking trail, come back around the beautiful countryside, particularly beautiful in autumn now. Leaves are changing, you get a nice view too. And then you cross that stream.
It's nutty. Nutty. And I know my aunt and uncle have a place there in Pittsburgh. Not my aunt and uncle, sorry, my cousin has a place in Pittsburgh. I know exactly where that is. I gotta call them tomorrow. I wonder if they've seen this. Jesse, I did. I just played it before you came on, bro. I just played it. Yeah, Domainer, I did see that clip, but I've only seen one clip of someone claiming that. I believe it was either from West Africa or Haiti, and he had said that he had gotten this card from the UN. Tell me if it's the same clip you saw, and that they hadn't reloaded it for his travels, and he was stuck in Mexico. Sith Lord says Jim Jordan will be the next speaker. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be going that way, right, man? Seems like it. Sarah Muscle said, see, here's the thing, Sarah Muscle. If we do, and this is what I was saying on Twitter the other day, a couple people I saw were saying the same thing, right? That that they're trying to bring all these illegals in so that they can send them off to fight. I said, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think these people are here to replace the jobs of Americans who they will send to go fight, whether it's through a draft or conscription or whatever the case may be. They need to replace all those bodies of people who need to go work. Well, you'll have your workforce ready for you. because you're not going to get people from 150 different backgrounds and cultures and languages to go and fight a foreign war and actually have their heart into it, right? But Americans will. So you have cheap labor, you bring in 10 million people who are willing to work cheap, and you can afford to ship off 3 or 4 million people if there's a world war going on. Harry Parrott says, Master, the illegals are being staged at a U.S. base in Panama. So, Harry Parrott, I did this the other night. The World Economic Forum now, their flag is flying over that base. That used to be called Fort Clayton in the Darien Gap in Panama. And it was given back to the Panamanian government in the late 70s. And now the World Economic Forum is flying their flag next to the Panamanian flag over that base right now. It is occupied by the World Economic Forum. No bullshit. I showed the picture the other night during the live stream. Oh, there's censored content. Yep. Yep. Censored content. Did you see that in the live stream? Tommy B says, just emailed you, Mass. Good short video regarding the border. Cool, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, Harry Parrott. Yep. Yep. And they're here to vote for Biden as well, right? They're all going to get IDs. Look, they have to make the case that they need these people to be able to earn an income. In order to do that, they have to have some kind of federal ID or a tax ID number. Whatever their plan is, they're going to be able to get IDs. And once that happens, all bets are off. I mean, do you guys really want to see a country where American citizens are at voting polls and stations checking IDs? That is a recipe for disaster. Jesse says, Moas, more like Mossad. Maynard says, no, I saw it months ago from either Ben. Okay. Maynard says, they're finding the cards and maps in the piles of trash on the Mexico side. I put that in the live stream the other night too, that craziness. By the way, for some weird reason on X, I don't know how many of you guys are on there, but I used to be able to make a folder and put bookmarks in it. Like I had them labeled differently, and I'd be able to hit a bookmark and send it to a folder. I woke up this morning or yesterday, all my folders were gone, and all I can do now is bookmark again. I don't know what happened, but I had a bunch of things saved that I was going to use for the documentary, and I woke up this morning, and the whole folder was gone with all the bookmarks. Bucks fan says, I'm not sending my boys to fight for the military-industrial complex Biden administration, but we'll fight to the death here in the U.S. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm not going to fight in a foreign war either. As patriotic as I am, as much as I love the United States, I am not going and being sent into a wood chipper in Ukraine or the Middle East or anywhere else. Man, we've been there. We've done that, right? We have paid the toll. We've paid the price with American lives and other lives, right? I mean, a million Iraqis died during the Gulf War based on a lie. But I hear you, Bucks fan. Tenzin Khan says, yes, I saw that base thing in your live stream. You actually did something that made a difference in the world. Hey, that's an important story to know, that for all you conspiracy theorists out there who believe the World Economic Forum wants to destroy the West, no, they're just there to help the migrants move through the toughest area of their crossing. Yeah, man, these globalists are for real. They legit want to see the end of all borders, the end of all countries. They want people to be able to just roam and take whatever they want, wherever they want. And you got dummies like Eric Adams saying, no, the border should stay open. You got bigger dummies like Latrine Jean-Pierre saying, no, the president doesn't think walls work, even though he just signed off to build them. Mind you, by circumventing all 26 of the EPA's rules, right? We're supposed to be this green country who loves the environment. We're trying to protect the planet from global warming and everything else. And we had it going the right way, right? We had the wall funded. We had it being built. And then it decided to stop. And now, and it was being done the right way, meaning that all of the EPA's regulations were being met. Now they're going to try to rush it and disregard all of those regulations. Like, do you just see how fucking backwards we are right now? Harry Parrott says the plan has been set by Obama. During his second term, Obama talked about using illegals for security force paid for by the U.S. taxpayers. Jesse says there would be so many conscientious objectors. Yeah, I would hope so, man. I would hope people will see through the bullshit and all the drama and realize that these people are up on Capitol Hill, man. They are warmongers. And some of this is old scores that are being settled, especially in Ukraine and Russia. Some of this is familial, right? This goes back to people that were maybe offended in the past, or maybe they have legit gripe with what happened over in the Soviet Union. Some of this is people who believe that Russia still colluded to put Trump in office back in 2016 because they've been so brainwashed to believe that this collusion thing is real. But I hope with this time around, people would be a little more conscientious to say, no, don't want to get involved. Harry Parrott says there's a video that says possibly 1,000 men die each day fighting in Ukraine. I would never allow one American to go fight that war for the Biden administration. I believe it. I mean, the numbers coming back are pretty staggering as far as the number killed. Yeah, Ukraine has been really chopped up bad. They've lost a lot of men. Like a whole generation of young men has been lost. King Louis says, why do you think they're trying so hard to put Trump away? He's the one cause the biggest threat to their agenda. Yeah. Yeah, as sad as it is, man. And you know, you have to give Trump credit for not backing down, for calling it like he sees it, whether you agree with him or not, and for fighting, because he doesn't have to run for president right now. They're about to strip away. I mean, think about this. They're about to take away his entire business and all of his assets out of New York. I mean, it's fucking crazy. I mean, I'll be honest. If they were threatening me like that to take away the small amount of things I do have, I could probably be talked out of it, right? I bet I could see the light. But he continues to fight, man. 91 indictments, the threat of losing everything, the political bashing he's taken from the media for the last 7 years, lying, spying on him, the Steele dossier that was paid and funded for by the Clinton campaign, Obama tapping all his phones. They still couldn't find any crimes. They had everyone in his campaign tapped, and they still couldn't find one crime to charge him with, according to the Durham report. It's crazy. And they're still persecuting the guy 24/7. The media, the district attorneys, the state. Danny says, Mass, why are most illegals men? I agree with Harry Parrott. Also, why are there so many FEMA camps, prison, other facilities created and currently empty? Seems like they may need to use them soon. So I saw a report the other night that some of those facilities, the camps that are on the border right now, a lot of them have children in them. I've seen the playgrounds and the kids from drone footage that the media is not allowed into. And I actually saw today earlier that they had a bunch of kids at the airport with ankle bracelets on. Why? I don't know. But none of these people will answer any questions. But yeah, Danny, they're doing that right now with the camps in the bigger cities, right? Yeah, Jesse, I just played it, man. Right before you came on, I played the entire speech you gave. I just played it, the entire speech. If you rewind like 20 minutes, I just played it before the Ramaswamy clip. Yeah, I got you. All right, I'm probably going to stay on for like another 10 minutes. Just trying to think, is there any more clips I want to share with you guys? Hang on. Oh. Yeah, here is this. This is them coming over the border. Again, how does Mossad not catch on to? How does no one? Here. This was the clip I saw that was being able to infiltrate like this.
Allahu Akbar! حط الهرم حط راسك يا زلمه في الجوادر والله يا الرحمن هاي جباتهم جباتهم الهماس
I'm stopping it there. I don't know what's coming next. But that is well funded and well organized. Well funded and well organized. Crazy. Jesse says, so what's next play? Taiwan? If China really wants Taiwan, now is the time. And then we're really going to be in uncharted territory as far as the world at war. Literally. You got 3 of the biggest theaters in the world, the Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East at war. All with a couple countries. But now you're dragging in, just in the Middle East with this Israeli thing going on with Hamas. Talking about Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, Iran, Egypt. Danny says, Mass, good to know. My wife came here legally and citizen. I would have never met her for that. But we need to know who is in our country. 100%. Look, my buddy that I was living with just recently, before I had to move, where I had the studio, he just married a girl from Brazil. She's illegal. But yeah, I get it. Censor Content said, well, it's time to do my part, so I'm going to pay some carbon tax. I'm going to start up my car for a while and just let it run. Right, Danny, exactly. Yeah. I can't get a working permit here because of that. They won't give me a temporary work visa. It's ridiculous. Harry Parrott says, more homework, Mass. Watch the video, The Greatest Show on Earth. Greatest show on... Is it new, Harry Parrott? I want to say that just came across my queue, actually. I swear to God, I think that just came across on my queue. Doc says, look on the bright side. At least our president knows how to do cocaine well. Danny said, that's how you start a world war. It's new? All right, Harry Parrott. I'm going to check it out. I got Tommy's email to check out. Sent me available. Thomas B. Email. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to come on for a little bit and see how you guys felt about all this. What your takes were. I think we're all pretty much on the same page. You know, I really want the fighting to come to an end, but obviously there's going to be some retaliation. And probably a lot more people are going to die. And that's unfortunate. And, you know, the saddest thing about it is we helped spur this on. Not we, but our government specifically helped spur this on. That's the worst part about it, you know? Sad. A lot of people are going to die because we have a feckless retard in office. Anything, and he's a puppet for the Uniparty right now, and they are in charge. And unfortunately, until we rid ourselves of that vermin in Capitol Hill, this is going to be our situation for a little bit. Yeah, Bucks fan says, everybody get your house in order. Get your house in order. Those are good parting words. Maynard, no problem. Tony says, God save the Queen. All right, guys. No problem. Have a great night. Thank you for the info and the videos what everyone sent me. Melvin Capital sent the content? What? I didn't. I've been hyper focused on the war and what's going on, when they're going to actually invade. What happened to Melvin? All right, I think I'm getting messed with. All right, guys, I'm going to bed. Love y'all. Appreciate it. Get your house in order. Stay strapped. And have a good night. Hopefully tomorrow we'll continue with our green. Right? Yeah. I like to see it. Something positive? I think we're going to have a green week. I think we're going to be good, King Louis. I don't know how the only thing is I just don't know how the market's going to react to this. But if there's not a major invasion tomorrow, if we don't hear about an invasion like actually going into the West Bank, I mean, I keep saying that, into the Gaza Strip, they said about 6 hours away is when it could possibly start. So if we don't see that happen, I think we might see a okay week. But who knows, man? I mean, the whole world's on fire right now. I like the way we were headed Friday. Hopefully we'll continue on that path. I got faith. All right, guys. Love you. We'll come back and talk about this more the rest of the week. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a good day tomorrow in the market. There won't be an invasion yet. Have a good night, guys.